left uncovered. I'm thinking about four-leaf clovers. I've got composure, silver coin. You hold me, turn me over. I never expect to forget about it. Watches the breeze, burns gold and smoke that you've stolen. Feels like it's no fortune that you're folding. I'm swimming with the sharks. I'm swimming with the sharks. Tell you apart from them, you can't tell either. Will we love or falling deeper? Tell me, darling, what is it you want? How the mind doesn't work like it used to, as I know I remain a danger to me, to you. Going altered by the moment, dear, and as the days turn night and sweet on survival, I'm on fire, waiting your arrival. I never expect to be sane without it. All you could ask for never made its way into your eyes. Cold in the water, cold unless you're keeping a disguise. I'm swimming with the sharks. I'm swimming with the sharks. It's out of my control. You said the play in motion couldn't be a bigger ocean. Tell me, darling, is this what you want?
We are not alone. They are among us. As the skies light up, they believe we are blissfully unaware. But this activity is beyond human extraterrestrial technology.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I'm glad to be in the number. It's a beautiful day. It's a tragic day. We had a loss in the family, but we're just gonna keep that under wraps. But it is what it is. God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, so strength is being tested. But it is what it is, and a day above ground is a blessing. So I'm still happy to be alive. I got a couple of videos that I wanted to go over with you guys. Bring some I'm not gonna say like necessarily expose anything, but bring some light to some things that I find funny that are going on in the political environment that we're that we're living in right now. So let me see how that sounds. Check my levels. How about now? Nah, that sounds crazy. This junk. Let's go. Alright. How do I sound? All right, how about that? Testing. We sound great. Sounds awesome. All right. So let me keep me right there. We're gonna bring that down. So the first video I wanted to go over or look at with you guys is gonna be the CNN video. And they're going to be talking to people who either voted for Trump or just the people who didn't vote for Kamala, and how they feel about their choice. Of course, I'm going to stop and go as we go through this and give you my opinion. But before we do, I like this song. So it's free use, so we got to at least give him a shout out. So let's listen. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Alright. I'm used to waiting for you. Would you be waiting for you? I'm used to staying for you. Would you be waiting? Don't come in when you send pictures. When you send pictures. You'll be waiting. Don't come in when you send pictures. When you send pictures. Would you be waiting? You and me. Alright, we're gonna turn it down, because this ain't a whole listening party. There's some free use, not the free use music. They ain't paying me for it. Alright, let me make sure I'm not running too hot. There we go. Alright, let's go into this video. Are you? Yeah. Are you? Are we not hearing anything? Hold on. We're still using. We trying to find another. All the different stupid. All right. So I wonder if they can still hear this. And you can't. All right. I wonder if you can hear. Oh, they're Jimmy. That's crazy. See, this is why you don't use newer equipment. They really hold me. $20 a month. Hey, bugging. No credit card. 10. Okay. They're not going to let me get back to the screen? Oh my god. I'm so upset. This is crazy. They're haters, bro. That's what it is. I can't believe they did that. This is so whack. Trying to find like the right software to stream with. And then I got a Mac, so it's like certain ones. OBS is trash. And then everything costs everything. It's like crazy. All right, let's see.
Said last night about taking over Gaza and remaking it as a Riviera of the Middle East, his words. Regardless of what the people around him say he said it all on camera, and millions of people saw it, including Arab Americans, many of whom voted for him. More from CNN's Jason Carroll now in Dearborn, Michigan.
Days before the last presidential election, Donald Trump was the invited guest at the Great Commoner restaurant in Dearborn, Michigan. Albert Abbas says he extended that invitation.
Hold on, let me move this again. See his face.
Decision he is now reflecting on, given all that has happened in the last 24 hours.
Many in the community are at a loss for words. Last night was a very rough night for most of us.
Abbas is Arab American and one of a number of Democrats who voted for Trump. Abbas says he hoped Trump would do more than President Joe Biden did to help Palestinians suffering in Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
But after Trump said Palestinians should leave Gaza so it can...
First question. What did Trump say that made you think that it was going to happen? Like, everything he did pre-election showed he does not care about the Palestinian people. He could care less about their plight. You hear what he says now. They're going to make it beachfront property. It makes no. I understand if you're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Personally, for me, my red line was I wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden. He was too proud to be a Zionist. As far as Kamala Harris, because she wasn't president, I wasn't willing to hold her responsible for what's going on under Biden's watch. And Biden, I wasn't going to vote for Biden. I wasn't. My mom and my grandmother were giving me a hard time about that. But if Biden was on the ballot, I would not have voted for him. Now, do I believe if he would have continued running, would he have won? I do believe there was a chance. I do believe that he had the chance to win over Kamala Harris. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Kamala Harris was running for 90 days against a man who was running for 4 years. You cannot tell me that it was a better decision for Joe Biden to drop out versus continue what he already started. He should have never been running from the beginning. He decided to run. To decide and run and then quit in the middle of it wasn't the first. He quit in like the third quarter. And then we were stuck with her. Now, is being stuck with her, in my opinion, better than Trump? Of course. I voted for her. And you can't tell me with what is going on right now that was a dumb decision. We got Canada preparing for war right now. And I want to know how, this is the perspective of Democrats or people who, Bernie Sanders voters who would vote for Trump. This is them. I want to know how the average Trump voter believes the first month of Trump's presidency has went. I really do. I'm really interested in that. But I'm not willing to go out there and talk to him, so.
Be redeveloped. Abbas says not only does he feel betrayed, he's hearing from a number of people angered over his past support of Trump.
People were really, really frustrated. And I don't think there's anyone to blame. At the end of the day,
how convenient. How convenient. People shouldn't blame you for voting for the person who won, who is now talking about turning the entire, moving in just under 2 million people out of their homeland and to somewhere else, to another country, after these people had been choosing to stay in this hellhole for 70 years. And you're saying there's no one to blame? It would be one thing if you just sat out. You could say the blood ain't on my hands. I didn't vote for this man, and I didn't vote for that genocidal woman who clearly, you look at the ads that she ran in Michigan versus the ads she ran in New York, as if New York doesn't have this large Muslim population. You know, you look at what the ads she ran in Philadelphia versus the ads she ran. You know, it showed that she was two-faced and willing to say whatever she needed to get in the position that to get where she wanted to go. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But let's go. Let's keep going.
As Arab Americans or Muslims, we really didn't have much of a choice.
Dearborn, a Detroit suburb, is home to the largest Arab American population in the United States, a community which helped Trump carry the critical swing state. He won 42% of the vote in Dearborn versus Vice President Harris with 36% and Jill Stein with 18%. In 2020, Biden handily carried the city with 69%. Faye Nimmer voted for Trump in 2024 out of frustration over the previous administration's support of Israel. Now, she is troubled by the president's proposal to move Palestinians out of Gaza.
I mean, it's very concerning and it's infuriating.
Personal feelings, you're infuriated, but standing by your decision for now to have voted for Trump.
Correct.
And what would move that needle for you to say, you know what, I made a mistake?
Palestine is the red line for this community.
Nimmer said,
how has that not been crossed by now? This doesn't make any sense. What does it take for this guy to lose support? People losing their face isn't enough. You know, you can't. Eggs being more expensive. All these are all the metrics that y'all use to try to dump on Biden. Y'all try to jump on. And again, I don't like these people. I'm just trying to be fair. Using the same things that you guys use to say that this guy was a bad president, it's 10 times worse with Trump. Make it make sense. Come on. Where is the line? Is the line even real, or is it just something you use to dump on the party that gives, you know? There's no denying that the Democratic Party gives like all the emotionalisms to gain support, but at least they giving something. What are you getting from Trump? Nothing. Hey, let me. I just want to say this real quick before we move forward. Let's see if we can hear it. Hey! Niggas got bombs! Niggas got bombs! Don't be mad at me, be mad at your mom. We got bombs. I'm that bomb. Yeah, and look up what else we are right here. Give it to me. Yeah, baby. All right. Simmer down. I just wanted to show y'all I got some applause, okay? I got that applause. And then we got this room right here. And then we got this one. Yes, sir. Yeah, baby. All right. And that was the reason why I thought about this, because she clearly just said a joke. She just said a joke. So we're going to give her one more goofy as we proceed. There we go.
And she suspects Trump is bluffing and is using his proposal as some sort of negotiating tactic. That's the same sentiment shared by Amar Zar.
First, this is clearly not going to happen, right?
And real estate broker Ali Al-Farajala.
A lot of people are calling me and texting me saying, hey, you know, how did your vote work out? You know, how's that third party vote?
Both were so-called protest voters. Neither supported Trump or Harris. Are there any sort of second thoughts now about having supported a third party candidate?
Absolutely not. And I'll still do it again and again and again.
I didn't vote.
Another thing about I did follow one of the pages that were in solidarity with Palestine, like one of those Never Biden pages. And I was with them all the way. You know, we're not going to vote for him. But once Kamala came in, it's a different person. It's not the same administration. Yes, she was a part of it, but, you know, everybody's in Washington has blood on their hands. Whether it be, you know, it could have, no matter who it is in oh snap, it is her. Yo. Alright, so no matter who it is, they're still gonna have blood on their hands. So no matter who you vote for, there's gonna be something that you can complain about, right? But as far as voting third party, the one person I know that is of the third party is Jill Stein. You're gonna go ahead and vote for Jill Stein, someone who shares a dinner table with what is his name? Putin. What's his name? Vladimir Putin. Former KGB agent, like a actual killer. You'll go and vote for someone who's rubbing shoulders with him, but you can't vote for Kamala Harris. Make it make sense. She's a warmonger too. She doesn't even know how the government works. But you'll go and give her power to affect your everyday. It's weird. And it's not like she's offering anything. At least Kamala had a plan to offer some stuff. Like, what did you get for voting for Trump? More expensive eggs? You know what I'm saying? And a for sure guarantee that, one, we're not going to build more schools. We're going to build more prisons. They're not going to build, you know, they may deregulate what is a structurally sound home. So, you know, if you are buying your first home and it's a starter home, chances are, you know, building standards in America are already garbage. You know, everything is just plywood and panels. I remember the first house we moved into down here in Georgia. Big old house, we thought. You know, like 24, 25, or maybe 2,700 square feet. But whenever the wind hit against the house, not only did you hear it, you felt it. Because these houses aren't made to last. The neighborhood we were in was maybe, we were there before they really built it out. Like, majority of the houses weren't built there. It was still underdeveloped. You know, they of course had the streets paved out because that's the first thing that they do. But the houses weren't really, I mean, they were amicably priced because you could get a whole lot of house for not that much money. But at the same time, the quality of the house, the soundness of the house, you know, your electricity bill gonna be stupid because there ain't no insulation in the house. You know what I'm saying? And Lord help you if your AC go out, you're gonna feel all the elements, all of them, all 12 of them. But yeah. What did you get out of voting for Biden? I mean, I know at least what I voted for when I voted for Biden. I voted for student debt relief. Did we get it? No, and that's why I wasn't going to vote for him the second time. I was going to give Kamala a second chance. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a first chance because she wasn't president the first time. She was only vice. It's two different things, baby. They have two different powers. All right? But I digress. Let's finish this. We're gonna opine on this. These smarties in their decision making I can go for forever.
So a protest vote, I don't know. I would say it was a targeted vote of conscience to say that the children of Gaza have to mean something. Their death has to mean something.
Oh my gosh. I hate this. I gotta get YouTube Premium.
One point is uniting them: opposition to Trump's proposal to move Palestinians out of Gaza.
The community will be unified. I will tell you this. The Palestinian people would rather die and live in a demolition site than to be ethnically cleansed and being sent out of Gaza to Egypt or Jordan.
So again, Anderson, after spending some time here in the Arab American community, you really get a sense that they feel like they've been let down by both Republicans and Democrats. Certainly there's a great deal of frustration after hearing what Trump is proposing, but there's also a feeling that had Harris been elected, had it been a Harris administration, the feeling here is that Palestinians would still be suffering. Anderson?
Just Carol, thanks very much. And Dearborn with me now. Put some numbers to the story. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton. Generally speaking, has there been much an appetite in the U.S. for to get involved in rebuilding Gaza?
No, there has not. And look, we have no new polling since last night, right? Polling works fast. It doesn't work that fast. But in the polling that we had prior, or that was taken towards the middle end of last year, what we saw was the overwhelming majority of Americans opposed the idea that the United States should take a lead role in reconstructing Gaza. You can see it right there, 57% opposed, just 37% support. And what I should note is the support was lowest among Trump's own base of Republicans. So the idea that this is going to sell among the American people at large or the Republican base, simply put, he definitely wasn't looking at the polls before he went out there and made a statement that was heard around the world because of how crazy it sounded to most.
And the thing about it is, it doesn't matter what his voters want. He can do this and will lose no support. It's just where we are now, we're just seeing how far he's willing to go. You look at not only what agencies they're attacking, but look out the outright lies that they deliver at this point. That they come up with. Like the 50 million in condoms that were supposed to go to Hamas. Political is subsidized by what is it? The government, because it wasn't just one agency. They were saying that it was all the agencies. Taking like $8 million over like a 10-year span, which multiple agencies pay to get the direct news alerts from Political. Just outward lies, coming up with spinning narratives. Like it's worse than what was O'Reilly's show on Fox before he got sat down, sent to the retirement center. Now he over there yelling at Cuomo on Bloomberg or whatever that garbage heap is over there. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame. It's a shame.
How did Palestinians view President Trump during his first administration?
Yeah, so we're talking about Americans, right? But at the end of the day, the Gaza Strip is filled with Palestinians, right? So the question is, how did Palestinians feel about Donald Trump during his first term? And the bottom line is they absolutely disapproved of his leadership. I mean, you rarely see numbers like this. Look at this. 78% during his first term disapproved of his leadership. Just 10% approved of it. And I even drilled down a little bit more because you know I love going into those crossfires.
I love it.
Among Gazans was even higher. The disapproval among Gazans was even higher than it was among Palestinians overall. So simply put, this would not be a popular plan either in America or in the Palestinian territories.
We are finally putting America first. Our policy of never-ending war.
This must be a young Trump.
Nation building is being replaced
this must be a young Trump. Trump don't talk like that no more, and he looks slimmer now. That's a young Trump right there.
Clear-eyed pursuit of American interests.
We do not nation building. We're going to end the era of nation building. A disastrous concept, a disastrous era. Why are we nation building over there? We want a nation.
This gotta be an old Trump.
When President Donald Trump first entered politics nearly a decade ago, he did so with promises of putting an end to nation building and removing the U.S. from.
You know what's funny? I watched the first part. I was like, yeah, we're going to touch this. That's funny. Everything that this... I'm telling you, there's nothing this man has to be consistent on. Kamala Harris can run the different ads in New York and in Detroit. I believe Detroit has a large immigrant, specifically Muslim immigrant population. So the ad she was running in Michigan kind of showed that she had compassion for the children and women and the innocents in Gaza. But the ad she was running in New York, where I don't want to sound like Kanye, but Trump's president, so we can be. No, I'm not gonna go. But New York, if you've been, New York has a lot of Jewish community centers, right? So it makes sense for her to show ads in New York that show she is firmly in alignment with Israel and that they have the right to defend themselves. Why are we stating that anybody has the right to defend themselves? Palestine and the people of Palestine have the right to defend themselves. The thing about it is, we're not arming the Palestinians to be able to defend themselves. They got to go to Russia and China to get theirs. They got to go to the Houthis and whatever. I don't know too much, so I'm not going to go there. But as far as the ads, it makes sense. She'll run it there, run different ads in New York than she would in Michigan. But it shows that being what she did worked against her and only showed her to be inconsistent or flip-flopping when it was beneficial to her. Do I agree? No. But that wasn't enough for me. Like, that compared to the realities of Trump was not enough for me not to support her. So I voted for her. And I'm not mad about it at all. I'm quite happy that I did. Every day that decision looks smarter and smarter. But let's keep going.
Or entanglements in the Middle East. But now he's, of course, said that he has a new plan to redevelop the Gaza Strip. Or as his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, put it, quote, make Gaza beautiful again. Rubio clarifying some of the details of the president's proposal yesterday.
Marco Rubio's garbage.
The only thing President Trump has done very generously, in my view, is offer the United States willingness to step in, clear the debris, clean the place.
Yo, look how big his forehead is. He looks like Mr. Incredible's boss. Marco Rubio looks like Mr. You remember Mr. Incredible when he was working in that job? He had that little tiny cubicle. His knees was touching his fingertips. He was, like this, just crammed in there. And his boss was a dirtbag. That's Marco Rubio. Remember how Marco Rubio used to talk about Trump when him and no. Was that Ted Cruz and the lady, that billionaire, joined the same ticket? That was when he was calling them. That's Ted Cruz, and I think Trump used to call him Little Marco Rubio, something condescending, but Marco Rubio sucks. And the comb over is trash.
As the Israel's defense minister readies.
And this, he's a Nazi. It is that man. He's a terrorist. He's a war criminal. He deserves to be in front of the Hague. Let's just say that.
Its military for the, quote, voluntary departure, end quote, of Palestinians from Gaza. One thing that's clear, President Trump and his plan have the full support of his Israeli counterpart, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
This was me, struggling to keep up with post.
I hate not having... I need to just go ahead and do it. It's trash. It's trash. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, with that, I'm not going to... Hold on. How do we go back? That's the end of that video, because we're not going to go back and try it again. Let's look at something else. Okay. Oh, no. We can just jump ahead with this one. And we'll go...
Strip, or as his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, put it,
the United States willingness to step in.
Look at that forehead, bro.
Place up.
As the Israel's defense minister readies its military for the, quote, voluntary departure, end quote, of Palestinians from Gaza. One thing that's clear, President Trump and his plan have the full support of his Israeli counterpart, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
This is the first good idea that I've heard. It's a remarkable idea, and I think it should be really pursued, examined, pursued, and done, because I think it will create a different future for everyone. He's the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House.
All right, joining us now, former Chief of Staff to Benjamin Netanyahu, George Birnbaum. Sir, good morning. Thank you very much for spending some time with us today.
Good morning, Casey.
I don't want to go further into that. I kind of lost my stomach seeing that. Yeah. I feel that if you voted for Trump and you are Muslim, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know, you sold your people out for what? If you voted for Jill Stein, you voted for Trump. That's not getting away with it. You could have voted in your goldfish. That would have been, less detrimental But voting for Jill Stein was not it. But that's just my opinion. I wanted to look at what the realities of policing so let me do this.
At the top of the program, we laid out the administration's rewriting of what the president said last night about taking over Gaza and remaking it as a
that bothers me so much. And I know it doesn't make sense, but it does. So I can't help it. I like the arrogance to believe that you should be able to just take over somebody's land like that is very Eurocentric, you know. But it is what it is.
Check this out.
It's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my fault. What's going on here? We're gonna get better with these transitions, I promise. I think I should just go ahead. Ethan Nukes. Oh. If Destiny's doing that, I don't appreciate that. We are a pro Hassan Parker channel. You hear me? On my mama. We are pro Hassan over here. We trying to become the Black Hassan for real, for real. When they started attacking him, it was like, all right, he the only one taking these blows. We gotta get in there to help that man. That's what we gotta do. We gotta get in there and help that man. They trying to take him down. That's a good man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean. All right. Moon bow. Bing, bing, bing. I like the way she sing. And one more time. All right. Here we go.
My voice is getting out?
Inside a room of hundreds of sheriffs, President Trump's border czar offered this rallying cry to the nation's top elected law enforcement officials.
I know you want public safety threats out of your counties as much as I want them out of the country.
With ICE facilities now over capacity nationwide, officials are appealing to local law enforcement, an effort to more than double their detention beds.
And you've said you need 100,000 detention beds to get this done.
Minimum.
Leaving Tom Homan appealing for more among the overseers of the nation's local prisons and jails.
I hope you're all in. The sheriff's in the room. We need your bed space. We need your 287G agreements.
We sat down with 4 sheriffs from across the ideological and geographical United States for a reality check on the White House's ask.
At this point in time, do you have the detention space for someone who their only offense is being here illegally?
No, I do not. It's not as simple as just opening the door. I've been overcrowded. I need a new jail. I need more space.
The only people I hold in my jail predominantly are those that are violent criminals, murder, rape, arson, and any form of domestic violence. I don't have not one single spare bed for anything else.
Top White House officials met this month to explore expanding the 287G program.
And the thing about this is they're building out these prisons as we speak, while at the same time telling these local sheriffs that they need to give up beds or increase beds. They're purposely trying to build these prisons to fill them. Trust and believe. It's going to start with immigrants. But once these structures are built, they need to be filled. And they're going to start coming after Americans. You protest too much, you're next. You start recording police officers, which is your constitutional right. You're next. Depending on what the temperature of your locale is, you're next. You do anything these power structures deem inappropriate, you are next.
Post 9/11 practice allowing local law enforcement to partner with ICE, joining task forces, helping to investigate and detain non-citizens.
And the thing about it is their goal, quote unquote, is to detain non-citizens or get non-citizens or illegal immigrants. What they're not going to tell you is, and what they're not saying is just like any traffic stop, right? The traffic stop could have been about the driver running a red light, or, somebody not having a seatbelt, or them claiming that somebody doesn't have their seatbelt. That one infraction gives the police officer the right to seize everybody's body in that car. Them thinking you could be out with a friend. I saw one video was of two Spanish speaking Americans. They were in whatever county. They were this goofball, the borders are, which is not a job of the president or the vice president. This is not the vice president. It's some total random from New York. Oh, whatever. What was he talking about? Oh, two Spanish-speaking Americans. They were detained and questioned whether or not they were legal residents or not. They're American. It's going to come for you too. It's only but 2 degrees of separation, bro. I'm trying to warn you. Take heed. Listen to Sim now. Y'all happy about these things like they're good things. It's not. It's whack. It's trash. You feel me? Trash.
135 agreements right now. How many do you want by the end of the year?
We got 3,000 sheriffs. I want 3,000 agreements. If we can get them, that's the goal.
But poor recruitment has also left sheriffs without deputies to spare as costs pile up.
I'm not being hurt, okay? I'm not being hurt.
In Brooks County, Texas, rough terrain and punishing heat left 129 migrants dead back in 2012.
944 square miles, and it's all rural.
Leaving behind a mass gravesite and $700,000 in debt.
And with that, there's a cost. We had to lay off people. We had to cut down on our salaries.
The cost of identifying and burying migrants. The sparsely populated Texas county was never reimbursed by the federal government.
I worry about eroding the trust that I've spent over 4 years trying to build.
In Summit County, Ohio, Sheriff Candy Fothery hosts a growing refugee population from Asia and Africa and says now they're terrified.
When you knock on doors in your community, do you ask someone what their status is?
No, I don't.
When that 911 call comes,
we already know that policing is a difficult, dangerous job. A lot of other jobs are difficult and dangerous, but policing is difficult and dangerous. No denying that. But as it is dangerous and difficult, police officers have way too much latitude to do whatever they dictate. And they play semantics with, a lot of things. I believe that the power that they have gives them too many opportunities for them to overuse power, and then that overuse of power creates hatred, right? I believe there should be a separate department that handles traffic infractions. One that doesn't have the ability to demand you get out of the car. One that if you run away from them, it's fine. Like in Georgia, there's enough cameras, they'll find you later on. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll throw this drone up on you. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll just get the state troopers to ram you off the road. You know what I'm saying? If you're fleeing, I've just grown to understand that Georgia's going to do what they're going to do about fleeing suspects. All right. But as far as like how often police officers will escalate interactions to where they're now demanding people to get out of the car solely because you're not answering questions. And they do it under the guise of officer safety. Officer safety is just a battering ram that they use to trample Americans' rights. That's it. Because oftentimes when you ask officers, did I put you in fear for your safety? They angrily will say, no, you did not. So what was the point of this? Officer safety. Officer safety for what? What did I do that caused you to be in fear for your safety? So now you're taking the traffic stops, domestic disputes, because it's not always domestic violence. I am oversaturated right now. This is crazy. We won't have to worry about that later. All right, well, so now you're not gonna not only do police officers already have to deal with all of the 8 billion things that they did before Trump. Now after Trump, they add on immigration, housing, and the thing is, they're building out these jails and increasing these beds to kick out people who contribute to Social Security and won't reap the benefits of it, who contribute to they pay taxes they'll never reap the benefit of outside of driving on the roads and state parks and stuff like that. And even that, state parks, you gotta pay to get in. But their tax dollars contribute to that. So we're just dumping and piling onto a profession that already had too much responsibilities, only making the job even more unsafe for no reason at all to benefit the benefactors who are going to be building out these schools and the stock portfolios of the people who have these who have invested in these companies that, you know, I'm not even going to, we'll do a video on that, the different corporations that are like driving and pushing for this age of new prisons under the guise of immigration. There's not enough immigrants in America for this really to be as beneficial for them to be building all the detention centers that they're going to be building. It's not just for them. You look at what they're doing in states like Louisiana, where they're increasing the death penalty. You know how much money it costs to put someone to death in these prisons? And how long it takes? People be on death row for like 10 years. 12 years. Because they have all their appeals. You know what I'm saying? And they need to have that. Because too many people die innocently that later are acquitted of charges that... And to see this black dude, you know, I understand black men are in policing, but he talking about I need a new prison. Like, we need to build more schools. We need to build more homes. We need to recreate this society so that men don't have to be at work all day. Mothers don't have to be at work all day just to barely make rent. Just to barely have food to eat. Can't afford daycares. Can't afford niggas can't afford to breathe at this point. Like, come get me, man. Like, it's Lord.
We don't care what your status is. No. We spent years trying to build trust with these communities so that they know we don't care about your status. We want to make sure you have justice.
Are you concerned that the next...
And so, in this, right? In this example of what he just said, we built all these different relationships with whoever. Now, an officer, if you assert your right to remain silent, officers are now going to be able to abuse this process, right? So if I remain silent, even though, do I look like, I guess I could look like I'm an African, but you know, you get the right cop and he want to push the issue. Now all of a sudden my status as whether or not I'm American or not is in question, and you know there's a reason for me to be detained and maybe fingerprinted, right? So they can obtain my identity. But that's an opportunity where abuse could take place. The officers do not respect citizens' right to remain silent. Oftentimes, they use your right as cause to violate your rights in another area.
Years are going to undermine that trust in law enforcement.
Absolutely. They're going to be terrified. Folks are saying, are you going to be coming for our family members?
Sheriffs tell us they've been
Yes,
failed by administration after administration, left picking up the pieces with no major bipartisan immigration reform passed by Congress since the Reagan administration.
Now, there was with Biden, but Trump was the one who put it into that. And he said he'll take the blame for it. Because he didn't want Biden to have a win. And y'all voted for him. Someone who would rather the situation stay worse than get slightly better. To get a slight a bump in investment. It makes no sense. And people still, hey, my vote was great. Voting for him was a win. Voting for him was a win.
Sure.
What you want?
The elephant in the room. This should have been fixed by Congress.
True.
I can't put it on a Republican or a Democrat.
Yes, you can. Oh, I hate that. But I can't be mad at him. He may not know. You know what I'm saying? Most people that vote aren't knowledgeable of what they're voting about. And you be a fool to think that they are knowledgeable of what they vote about. Come on. Come on, man. Yeah. There we go. Does that look better? Oh no. That's what we're just gonna stay.
That's why we put you there. Get a spine.
I'll help because I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the Constitution.
When the White House is asking you to do even more, we need your personnel. We need your detention space.
Yes, that's a big ask by the White House. And I've told them, I'm standing ready, as the sheriffs across this country are standing ready. But it's going to take time, and it's going to take resources, and it's going to take money.
You're being asked to do more with less.
American sheriffs, we're doing everything that we can. But there's only so much that we can do.
We're doing the impossible with nothing.
Joins us now. Nicole, just incredibly enlightening interviews there. And the sheriffs have expressed a willingness to work with the federal government, but told you they're under-resourced. So what does the White House have to say about that?
Well, I asked the White House border czar this exact question, and Tom Homan told me the White House will work with sheriff's offices nationwide on an individual basis, collaborating on task forces and detention space. And he argued that sheriffs in the White House have a common goal. They want to remove public safety threats from facilities. Homan vowed ICE will pay to train, oversee, and equip law enforcement on the ground, but there are some concerns and questions here. Namely, will sheriffs and their deputies be held legally liable? And in many states, there are actually limitations on how and how long law enforcement can actually hold undocumented individuals. So like, for instance, Colorado law forbids local law enforcement from providing immigration information to federal authorities, and in most cases prohibits local jails from holding people at ICE's request. They also block arrests solely based on a resident's status. There are sheriffs in that state that will tell you they're not willing to break the law to follow this administration. Then there's the question of resources. Will this administration compensate sheriffs for their assistance? And lastly, that big question of trust within communities. How far are sheriffs and law enforcement willing to go?
So they're going to be doing all of these things that cost gobs of money, massive amounts of time, right? You're investigating where these people are. Like, let's not act like ICE wasn't raiding homes and getting dangerous criminals out. What they're talking about doing right now isn't going after predators. They're already hot on their tail. And if they weren't hot on their tail, goofballs doing all these press conferences talking about the different raids they're about to do does not help. You know what I'm saying? Them riding around, whatever. I'm not going to repeat that because I don't want to be on anybody target list. But just know we watching the news. They can see what y'all doing, and they're driving money towards this, what are they talking about doing as far as schooling? What are they talking about as far as housing? Are they going to be building new homes, or are they going to have private industry rent out a bunch of dilapidated garbage? It's ridiculous.
Though, in assisting federal agencies with immigration enforcement, at what point do sheriffs say, I can't participate in that operation? Most sheriffs will tell you they're willing to assist any federal law enforcement that has a federal arrest warrant. They're willing to assist if the target's a violent criminal. But if your only offense is being in the United States illegally, participating in that kind of ICE raid might undermine trust within certain communities. Because at the end of the day, they want their communities to report crimes, to approach sheriffs and deputies with information, and to live without fear, to feel safe going to church, to school, and the hospital.
It is a subject we have explored many times here on the Daily Report. Nicole Skanga, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's crazy, man. They playing with people's lives. That's just not cool. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. See, I got one more video that I wanna go over. It's a PBS special, and PBS has a special a place in my heart. I grew up watching PBS Kids, watching Hey Arnold. No, that's on Nickelodeon. Hey, watching Arthur, right? What else? Wild Kratts, Super Wise, Sid the Science Kid. I'm forgetting a couple of them, but yeah, I love PBS. Let me see. We're going to end on a beautiful video that is about a black billionaire. Now, I do not trust billionaires, black or white. Don't trust them. I don't believe you can actually make that much money without raping someone else. Like, somebody's getting taken. Someone is forcibly being taken advantage.
That mom took over for him one summer.
But as it is,
nation's first sit-ins.
I'm not gonna hold no black man to a higher moral code than his white counterparts, especially back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna learn about Mr. Reginald Lewis, and he made some big money. And we're gonna always respect accomplishments. Excuse me, it's late. I wanted to get this done. Like I said, today was not a great day for me. It was quite the day, if you will. But like I said, every day above ground is a good day. And I'm happy for my life, health, and strength. And I appreciate y'all if you pray my strength in the Lord. All right. With that, we're going to give that last one an applause. Come on. Come on. Give it up. Yes, sir. Come on. We're moving on to the next. To the next. To the next. Everything I want in a box. To the left. In the closet. That's my stuff. Baby, if I broke it, please don't touch. Keep talking that stuff that time. Can you walk and talk at the same time? It's my name that's on that bag. Let me call you a cab. Hanging in the backyard.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day one,
He would scream at you for stop talking to me.
The Trump administration wants.
All right. I don't care what the Trump administration wants. They can kick and eat to it for all I care.
That mom took over for him one summer when she sent him to camp.
He went to summer camp and
All right, let's just.
Reginald F. Lewis and the making of $1 billion empire. He was a local.
And let's not forget, it's Black History Month. We may only get the least amount of months, amount of days in a month possible, but it's Black History Month. So in light of that, we're going to learn about Reginald Lewis. The first, I don't know if he's the first, but he's a black billionaire in America. Grew up in, I don't know where he grew up. We're going to find out. Let's go.
Paperboy, who became a Wall Street tycoon.
The thing that I admired about Reginald Lewis, he was a take charge kind of a guy.
Breaking racial barriers in the corporate world.
Reg Lewis, in many ways, was the Jackie Robinson of business.
He bought a global conglomerate, 64 companies across 31 countries.
No African American has done ever a big deal like that.
Reginald F. Lewis, pioneer.
Now listen.
Reginald F. Lewis was born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1942.
All right. So he grew up in Baltimore. B-more. That I used to live in Baltimore. I went to Hadville Elementary. I went to William H. Lamel. And I went to Hamilton. All them schools I was fearing for my life. I came from Albany, New York to Baltimore, Maryland. When I tell you a culture shock couldn't describe anything. So when I moved back to Albany and them niggas was trying to turn up, y'all don't have a clue. I seen a nigga get jumped to where a nigga, he jumped up on the bars in the it was the first time I ever seen a nigga get jumped on a bus. And the bus driver he couldn't have been as in. The nigga did not care that this kid was getting jumped. And when I say he was getting jumped, niggas was hanging on the bars, just kicking his head. You know how good of an ab workout you gotta do to be able to kick a nigga in his head while hanging? And that was like my first day there. I'm standing. I don't know, where was I? I was the type of dude, I stand in the front of the bus. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know nobody. I'm trying to get out quick. I'm not going to be in that back of that bus. Something pop off. And I'm, trying to get to the door. I'm already there. You know what I'm saying? I'm already there.
He was raised by a tight-knit family that nurtured a sound education, unyielding pride, and a strong work ethic.
My grandfather said, know your job, and you'll never be in a breadline.
By the 1950s, racial tensions were deepening in Baltimore. It was the site of one of the nation's first sit-ins. Schools were being desegregated, and white flight was peaking.
So when we moved here, all the white people, there was a whole white block, moved out. So right from the beginning, we had obstacles at very young age that we were aware of, but Mom and Dad didn't bring it home. They just told us that we had to be twice as good and we had to work.
My father was very driven from a very young age.
Daughter kind of fine. That must have been his wife in the beginning, the Asian woman, cause she looked like she got a little pink pie, little chink, little chingling ching. You know what I'm saying?
He was 9. He decided that he wanted to become the richest black man in America.
He had a newspaper route in this neighborhood where he delivered Afro-Americans. That Mom took over for.
Yeah, them highfalutin niggas don't say black. I'm Afro-American.
One summer when she sent him to camp.
He went to summer camp, and for 2 weeks, I served and collected the money. And the first thing he said when he walked through the door, "Where's my money?" I said, "I did the work. I earned the money." And he said, "Mom, I'm gonna get a lawyer and sue you." So Butch said, "Give him his money." And he said, "Thank you." He didn't give me a tip and just left.
At Dunbar High School in Baltimore, Reginald Lewis was a 3-sport all-star athlete. He played football as a quarterback, basketball as a guard, and baseball as a...
look at him. Look at him. Look at his shoulders. Look at his shoulders. Look at his arm, his bicep. Bro look like Joe Brown. Yeah, you know he was out there killing it. He was
shortstop. Between schoolwork, year-round sports, and part-time jobs, Lewis had little time left for play. As a teenager, he was already tough-minded and determined to succeed.
So he went to Virginia State on a partial football scholarship, and then he injured his right shoulder. And what a tragic injury for a right-handed quarterback, a shortstop, and a basketball player who shot with his right hand.
At Virginia State, he made that switch, and by the time he was a senior, was really focused on
bro got some fine daughters, man.
Business and school and advancing his studies, which is why when he saw the ad for the Harvard Law School summer program, that first year that they launched it, he was already able to identify and say, "Oh yes, I want that."
A funny thing happened during that summer. By the end of the program, I really didn't care if I got in or not. I'd done my best and I knew I could compete.
My father, after the 8 weeks, went back to Baltimore, but then just like a week or two later, got a call and was in, and was told that he is the only person to get into Harvard Law School without formally applying. Graduating from Harvard Law School, Dad went to the best kind of job that you could have, a blue chip Wall Street law firm. The one he went to was called Paul Weiss, Wharton, Rifkin, and Garrison.
The Paul Weiss experience was a very good one for me. My skills developed and matured enormously. But at the risk of offending many friends there, it was not an especially happy time for me, and I never really felt at home or able to relax.
So in 1970, my father left Paul Weiss and started a law firm, the first African-American law firm on Wall Street, with some other lawyers. But he only did that for a couple of years, and then he moved on to have his own practice.
Looking for an easier way to get...
Now that's pretty good. When I first saw this, I saw a billionaire Ignorantly, I assumed brother worked on a Wall Street firm, but I didn't know it was a law firm. I thought he was a stockbroker. I had no idea. That's pretty awesome.
He met the woman who would become his wife.
I told you.
I met Reginald Lewis on a blind date. I was the one who proposed. We got married 6 months after we met.
Ooh.
Yes, wedding in the Philippines.
Ooh.
Early in the morning, it was a holy mass at around 7 o'clock. So waking up at 4, my wedding gown was hand embroidered. We were in a small chapel. I was almost walking on clouds. It's like a dream because I never intended to get married. The vision was that he'll be taking care of the big expenses, mortgage, children's education. I will take care of household. So those first years were tough, but I had faith. I had faith in him.
In those lean years, as Lewis's law practice and reputation began to grow, he purposefully set aside time to use his legal expertise in support of civil rights.
I first met Reginald in the early 1970s.
This is why you should not judge a book by its cover. At the beginning of this, I said I don't trust billionaires, and I don't. I don't trust them worth for nothing. I don't think you can get to that wealth without crushing people. But he doing good. And from what I've seen so far, I ain't seen nothing that show him taking advantage of nobody. You know what I'm saying?
70s. Reginald F. Lewis was the corporate attorney for the United Church of Christ Commission for Racial Justice. In the early 1970s, there was a backlash to school desegregation, a violent backlash, where white paramilitary, white supremacist groups physically attacked us at the United Church of Christ Church in Wilmington. And as a result of that attack, a riot happened. 10 of us were arrested in 1972, and we became known as the Wilmington 10 as a result of our unjust arrests.
We gotta do a deep dive.
They issued a warrant for my arrest, and I was in New York at the time. And the thing I admired about Reginald Lewis, he was a take charge kind of a guy. On the plane, we discussed when the plane landed, who was going to go off the plane first and who was going to go off the plane last. And Reggie says, "Look, I'm your lawyer. Follow me."
I like it. I like it. Don't leave it to no vote. Nigga, y'all follow me. I'm your representative. Okay? No. Follow my lead. And you won't say nothing.
The sheriff reached for me even while I was stepping down the steps. Reggie grabs the sheriff's arm and said, "Wait a minute, who are you?" And the sheriff said, "Well, I'm the high sheriff, who are you?" And Reggie said, "I'm Reginald F. Lewis, I represent Reverend Chambers. I need to see your identification." That's the kind of lawyer that Reginald Lewis was. That's the kind of...
He was talking like spicy like that back then. That nigga had nuts to steal. Not back then. That's during like Bull Connor. Man.
I would say even activist he was. Yes, he was a Wall Street, highly trained corporate lawyer, but he was a strong freedom fighter for civil rights.
But Lewis had another dream. He was an intense, driven risk taker who wanted the power and the money from the world of high finance. And he wanted to be the first African American to get it.
I remember that Reg decided that he was going to put more time into venture capital, and he wanted to form a company that he decided to call TLC Group, which he never would admit, but we think it was for the Lewis companies. That's what TLC stand for.
He would always talk, at night when the children are asleep, about the business, about what's happening. I think it's his way of decompressing. I always consider it like there's a ball of string in his head. And just by talking about it slowly, it's coming out and it clarifies his mind.
If you have a core set of values, like family, like hard work, like trust. And these are things that will stay with you even when you may be having a difficult time in a specific problem. But if you maintain the core values, you can generally ride through any particular problem, and then in the end, will be able to be pleased with the result.
He wanted to be seen not just as an African-American businessman. He wanted the message to be that he was an American businessman, that he was a success in his own right, that he was not some sort of a token or some sort of ethnic person who they picked and put in there. He wanted to demonstrate that it was his hard work, his intelligence, and his drive that made him a success.
By the time the early 80s arrived, Lewis had experienced several failed business acquisitions. Yet, he was undeterred. Instead of stopping, he went after an acquisition that was bigger and bolder than anything he had attempted so far.
Any deals that we saw were always warmed over or nobody else wanted to do it. So the McCall Pattern Company became available. And the reason it was available is because the number of units sold in that industry had declined for 10 straight years, yet McCall was still profitable.
Lewis wanted to close big leverage buyout deals. To make all the numbers work, he had to buy a mature company with a predictable, stable cash flow, which would allow him to pay off the tremendous debt once the deal was done. The big question was, who could help him get the financing done?
The role of investment bankers is one of the great mysteries of the universe. The simple fact is that you don't hire investment bankers, you hire people. Because Phyllis Schless had labored for many years on Wall Street with one of the top investment banks, Bear Stearns, I wanted her thoughts about the best price to pay for McCall.
We needed to get Reg in touch with the people who were selling McCall, and we needed to get him treated seriously. So the first thing I did was to basically bridge him to the establishment.
In the McCall Pattern transaction, my role was to provide the senior financing, $19 million out of the $22.5 million. That was the sale. Getting the bank part was the tough part in the early days of leverage buyouts. And 83 was the very early days. I have to admit, when I first met Reg, I wasn't told that he was black, so it was a little bit of a surprise when I walked out of my office.
He's a colored!
There weren't that many black entrepreneurs in New York City at the time.
Or you just didn't know.
My thinking, I put aside completely the fact that he was black. I didn't see how it would...
Once that money was going,
be part of the decision.
Then things weren't moving fast enough for Reg. He wanted it to close instantly.
I felt I was stuck on the McCall deal and was not sure whether Bear Stearns was trying to scuttle the deal or not. I decided to give them a little competition.
And Reg went out behind my back, literally, and he talked to other investment bankers and people. Maybe they could move faster, he thought. We dropped him. Bear dropped him because he breached our agreement. A week later, I got a phone call that said, "I'm really sorry." There were words I never thought I would hear out of his mouth, ever. If I double your...
Hey, brother has it in him to acknowledge he was wrong. Those are characteristics of a great man. Of a good man. Let me just say that. Not everybody out here telling the truth. Not everybody out here admitting to be wrong. He did it. In a major way. Over some real money. Not a major way. He wouldn't call her. But, still.
Your fees, will you take me back? We initially had a fee, I think, of $250,000. He doubled it to $500,000, which was not a lot of money, but it was 1983.
First of all, once we bought McCall, all of a sudden we were in a different tier. You know, we were now owners, or Reg was now an owner of a decent-sized company with a brand name. It's amazing how things changed after that. All of a sudden, we were getting telephone calls. Everybody wanted to interview Reg. You know, it was a huge deal.
Excuse me, sir, would you like to earn
Oh, I
income
hate
while
the Reds so much.
TLC bought McCall Pattern Company with $1 million and only 3 years later sold it for an astounding $90 million.
What?
This single investment cemented Lewis's place as a major Wall Street financier and a prominent corporate takeover dealer. While the media focused on him, he leveraged his new wealth to help the African American community.
He was Jesse Jackson's first big funder in a significant way, handing Jesse Jackson a $100,000 check unsolicited and loaning his plane to Jesse Jackson for campaign trips.
And from where I stand, Jesse Jackson better understands the fundamental changes that are occurring in America and in the world today, more so than any other candidate that I've heard so far.
This candidacy of Jesse Jackson was an inspiration to him personally. And I remember the fundraiser that my dad threw for Jesse Jackson. It was thrilling. It was a thrilling time to feel like a black man could be in the White House.
His support for the campaigns was not just his support for friendship. Once he saw it was a possibility, remote but possible, he invested in the future. He offered the rope of hope. He offered what was possible. He never stopped giving, whether it was the civil rights movement, political leadership, or universities. He never stopped giving.
Around the time of the closing of the McCall Pattern Company, Lewis got a tip about an even bigger business opportunity. Beatrice International, an enormous global food company, was about to be sold. Lewis had the audacity to go for it, but he needed the financial backing of a businessman and company who were leaders in financing these deals. He reached out to Drexel, Burnham, and Lambert.
He persuaded me at Hello when he accomplished at McCall Pattern, a company that I would have never bought because I didn't feel that strongly about the industry. And the minute he showed me his plan for Beatrice International, he had me.
In those days, the high-yield piece of the business, though, was really dominated by Drexel. There wasn't anybody else of any significance that was in the high-yield piece. And you needed that high-yield piece for him to get his whole financing done.
One of the major challenges for black entrepreneurs was and is access to capital. And what Reggie was able to do from some of the top financial firms in the marketplace was to articulate a vision and a rationale, and in fact, engender a level of credibility that people provided him with the capital. And that was extraordinary.
We had many other people around the world approaching us whether we would finance them to buy Beatrice. It was clear that Beatrice International situation, that Reg knew it better than anyone. I think he knew it better than KKR, who owned the company at the time. And he had a plan.
Reginald Lewis knew that if he was going to pull this deal off, the sale would be of historic proportions. The key to this huge acquisition was figuring out how to make the tax components of this deal work and how to double the cash flow in order to pay off the massive debt. If Lewis failed, he would lose everything. His bold gamble? Sell off parts of Beatrice International's worldwide operation at the same time that he was buying it.
The deal closing process itself was full of drama. We got a call from Drexel saying, you guys are going to have to come out here to Beverly Hills and you're going to have to explain to us what the tax deduction is going to be or no deal.
Well, there was a lot of negotiations going on. between the senior people at Drexel and Reg and his team, and therefore there is always tension.
The closing of the Beatrice International deal took place on November 29, November 30 of 1987. That was, at least to that point, a very unique point in history, because Wall Street had had a total meltdown the prior month in 1987. No transactions were being closed. The fact that we were able to close...
He's talking about Black Monday. I watched the show on that. They had vice presidents jumping out of their executive offices to their demise. Tripping.
A gargantuan deal, novel for its time, given its international character, was just it was absolutely off the charts.
I think KKR knew we were going to have the highest bid and was going to go with us all along, but they created doubt in our minds so that we effectively topped our own bid and increased it to $985 million. But that ultimately took it.
I remember the day of the announcement of the Beatrice acquisition, and I remember calling him to congratulate him and telling him how proud he was. But I remember all the calls that went around the country of African Americans saying, this is absolutely incredible. It was historic.
In becoming the CEO of Beatrice International, Lewis was catapulted into an exclusive group of business leaders at the pinnacle of industry.
He bought 64 companies in 31 countries for almost $1 billion. So in that sense, he is a pioneer. No African American has done ever a big deal like that on a leveraged buyout. And so when it hit the press, it was like front pages all over.
The extraordinary level of debt and taxes the Beatrice International deal generated could have resulted in a financial disaster. But Lewis had the business acumen to prevent that from happening. He closed the deal and then immediately stepped up to the monumental job of running his global business empire.
So when I was 9, my dad took me on one of his tours of his factories. We started off in Ireland at the potato chip factory, and then we went to Spain to the ice cream factory, and then we went to Belgium to the bottling company. And my dad talks to me and says, you know, this is the real business, Christina. This costs like 3 cents, and they sell it for $3. He was like, this is the business.
That you can't beat that. That's awesome. The man went from middle Baltimore. Now he has his daughter going from China, Germany, I don't want to be a billionaire. Because he's selling off, so that doesn't necessarily mean that he's firing people. You know, now, what the people who buy it do, that's a different story. I'm starting to like this guy more and more, you know? And he got some fine daughters.
With his legacy firmly established, Lewis was in pursuit of the next big deal. He was starting to enjoy the fruits of his success when tragedy struck.
It was around New Year that the biopsy came, and he was diagnosed with brain cancer.
See? I hate cancer, man. I hate cancer so strongly.
I remember going home for Christmas and seeing my father not himself. He had lost a lot of weight. And he said, "It's serious, baby." And maybe a month later, he was dead. Yeah. It was such an intense time. And it was shocking that someone so full of life, really at the peak of his career, could all of a sudden be gone.
Operating as an African American in this pressure cooker of New York.
Couldn't imagine.
High finance, high legal drama, exacts its toll.
Mr. Lewis died when he was 50. Leslie was 19 and Christina was 12. Each of us handled it differently. For myself, I couldn't really say the Our Father. I could not say the will be done. Because, it was like that. But I never said, why me? I accepted God's will, but it was just so hard.
Yeah.
There is no doubt that
it's very, very, very easy to succumb to the emotions of whatever you're dealing with. And death is one of those things that, you can say you never doubt God, but everybody got a principled stance. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? And losing loved ones, it can be earth shattering. But he lived a very fulfilling life.
At Reginald Lewis's success paved the way for me and many others. And I think that really is the test and demonstration of real leadership, is what is the foundation that you have created? What is the legacy that you've left?
All right, guys. That's going to be the end of this stream. R.I.P. Reginald Lewis. R.I.P. Reginald Lewis. We respect your contribution. The light you brought to America. Shine an example of what a great man could be and how a man uses his influence to better his people, for the betterment of his people. We honor you on this 12th of February 2025 on UNKkTv. This goes out to you. But beyond that, guys, it's been cool to chill with y'all. Let me see if this... I hope y'all can hear the music, because I got it on for y'all. I actually like the way... Let's see. Oh, you can't? That's so trash. Why is it playing? That's so crazy. This whole time I've been playing music. Wait, so it was not... Alright. We're good. You know, your music wasn't playing like the way you wanted it to. It is what it is. But to anyone, if you watched, I appreciate. If you watch later on, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. Like this junk, share it. Come enjoy UNKkTv with your boy. You know, it's only right. I appreciate everybody that will be here in the future. This is love from the past to the future to whoever watches this. Because we know y'all gonna come. We know y'all gonna come. Because it's only gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to find this song that I like. Let me see. Well, no, we're not even gonna do all that. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. God bless everybody that came out. It's your boy Sim. We out.